Well, Mike's giving you a nice kind of summary quiz, and it's my job then to expound upon that summary quiz since he's speaking for us today. But clearly, Mike Corbett is man on the move in Hamilton County, as publisher, obviously, of the Hamilton County Business Magazine, and welcome to Hamilton County Visitors Guide. Mike is naturally a member of all 6 Hamilton County Chambers of Commerce and an active person on economic development committees. Mike is a community leader. He is president of the Noblesville Preservation Alliance and president of the Noblesville Midday Rotary Club. He serves on boards and or committees of several Hamilton County not-for-profits, including Promising Futures, Noblesville Main Street, Legacy Fund, and Hamilton County Area Neighborhood Development, or HAM as it's called. Mike is a community servant, hoping to serve the city of Noblesville through his current run in the mayoral race. Should he win, we'll still expect him to attend the forum. Mike is a communicator. He holds a BS degree from the University of Illinois in radio TV and an MBA from St. Cloud State University. He's also a graduate of the Hamilton County Leadership Academy, and Mike, of course, is a veteran newsman, having worked as a writer and editor for newspapers over the years before his own. It's from this publishing background that he'll be sharing with us today, making marketing messages memorable, giving us advice about how to approach writing articles and essentially blogs to promote our businesses in our series on inbound marketing. It's my pleasure to bring you, of course, our buddy and friend, Mike Corbett. Thanks.
Oh, applause at the beginning. That's wonderful. Remember that when we get to the end. This presentation is based on a book that I read. It was written 4 years ago, or published 4 years ago, and it's called Made to Stick. It was recommended to me by somebody here in Carmel. I can't remember his name, but he runs this video operation right down Main Street here. Main and Guilford. I don't even know if the business is still there. But he said, this has got some great principles in it. You should give it a read. And so I did. It's written by a couple of guys named Chip and Dan Heath. If you read Inc. magazine, they have a column in Inc. magazine. One of them's a professor out of Stanford, another one has a consulting business in North Carolina, their brothers. And what I like about it is that they've taken messages that are memorable, stick, and keep, and somehow change people's behavior. And they've really analyzed them and tried to find out what it is about those messages that works. What is it that makes them memorable? And within there are lessons that I think we can take away. And I'm going to try and give you a few of them here today. I'll be giving you those lessons mostly through examples that hopefully you will recognize and that you'll be able to put to use in your daily writing. Essentially, these are not tips that you're going to be able to think about ahead of time and then start writing, but essentially after you write, maybe take a look back. So there are things in here that have stuck with me over the years and that I now apply in my writing, and that I think help make some of my writing a little more memorable. So stickiness, as they define it, is the ability, once again, for messages to somehow break through the clutter. We all know what kind of clutter messages provide in our daily lives. They break through, and people retain them for some reason. And they use it as their initial example. A guy named Art Silverman, who worked for the Center for Science and the Public Interest at one point, which is a consumer watchdog agency or organization, discovered this fact that movie popcorn, the medium box of movie popcorn, has 37 grams of fat. And of course, for a consumer agency, he felt compelled to somehow communicate that to people. But when he would go and let people know that there was too much fat in movie popcorn, and essentially it's because they use this coconut oil, which is full of saturated fat, as the butter. He was having trouble getting people to understand exactly what that 37 grams. It's twice the amount of saturated fat you're supposed to have for an entire day. And people were consuming this over the course of a couple of hours while watching a movie. So he was trying to think of ways to drive that home. Essentially what he came up with was this idea of comparing it to meals, to actually what you eat over the course of the day. And it is, when you put it in those terms, more fat than a bacon and eggs breakfast, a Big Mac and fries for lunch, and a steak dinner with all the trimmings in a single day, which most people would not consume that in a single day. And yet, they were consuming that and in the course of 2 hours. So he used that message, and that message stuck with people. And if you recall, this was probably a dozen years ago or so, that became, at one point, a very popular message that movie popcorn is not good for them. And it forced, frankly, a lot of movie theaters to change the oil that they used in their popcorn to make it a little bit healthier. It worked. It stuck with people. So what was it about that that stuck? There's a lot of lessons that you can learn here when it comes to urban legends. If you think of a lot of urban legends, they also have stickiness. You remember they used to give the example of Woo and Halloween, but the whole story of razor blades and apples during Halloween just became viral. This was like 20 years ago, so a long time ago. But that was the kind of message that stuck with people. It was extremely rare. It happened a few times and never happened again. But from there on out, every Halloween, everybody was concerned about razor blades and apples. It just sticks with people. So what is it about that message that sticks with people? Also the urban legend that Coca-Cola rots your bones, or the Great Wall of China is the only man-made object that can be seen from space, or you only use 10% of your brain. These are all urban legends, and none of them are true, but they're ideas that stick with you because they have elements in them that somehow burn themselves under your brain. And so I'm going to start here with a little exercise, and we'll see if it works. And I have to wait until Gail's phone turns off because it's going to be something that I want you to pay attention to as I do this. I'm going to tap out the rhythm of a song that you probably remember from childhood. And as I tap it out, I'd like to know what song this brings to mind.
Happy birthday to you.
What is it?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page.
Happy birthday? Sounds like happy birthday. Anything else come to mind? Actually, it's the Star Spangled Banner. By the dawn's early light. But you had, and the reason you came up with happy birthday, and happy birthday, frankly, is what I wanted you to say, is because you have what these guys call the curse of knowledge. Right? And I set you up by saying this is a song you probably remember from childhood. And chances are that when you think of your childhood, you think of happy birthday rather than the Star Spangled Banner. If I had said, this is a song that you may have learned in first grade, or this is a song that you may have sung at a baseball game, or something like that, you probably would have thought of something else. But the knowledge that you have is that this is from your childhood, and so the point of that exercise is that we all come to these things with certain constructs. We come to these with certain preconceived notions, and we see things through this filter. And these messages, if they're effective, will break through that filter and make you pay attention, because you're thinking of a certain thing, and everybody else tends to think of it the exact same way. It's very predictable how people react to a lot of these things. So, at any rate, that's a little bit. And again, this is the first time we've ever made this presentation, so thank you very much for playing along. That would have really, you said there was no communication before. I said this Star Spangled Banner, man.
Not about music.
And let me know if I go long here, okay? I don't want to go too long. And I know I get like 20 minutes, right?
15, but that's good.
Oh, okay. Well,
Speaker's always trying to get more
time. All right. So I'm going to do pass some handouts here. Go ahead and take one and pass it on. This is just on which to take notes. These guys come up with 6 principles that you can use to make your marketing messages more memorable. And as it turns out, coincidentally, the initials of these spell out the term success, which makes it even easier to remember. So the first principle is simplicity. Your messages need to be simple. You should have, when you have one message, you want to keep driving home that core message. And use this as an example, Southwest Airlines. What is their message? When you think of Southwest Airlines, what comes to your mind? Cheap. Cheap. They're cheap. They're the low-cost airline. And everything they do is geared toward being the low-cost airline. And all of their marketing messages are the exact same. And of course,